Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. You know what today is? Yeah, day after hump day. Happy day after hump day. And I got my man Jonathan, my Prime Minister, valuable intel, along with me. We are going to recap the draft and the Yankees picks and give our takes on what we think. And if anybody stands out to me, if anybody stands out to Jonathan, I want you to have a little bit of a bigger picture painted out for you so you can see what the layout of the draft is. And Jonathan, I want to thank you for joining me today, and appreciate you as always. And gang, you let us know in the comments too. Kunstler Yeti, hello, shout out to everybody in chat. Dev, Al, all he is, Ken, what do you know? So, and give us your takes on the draft as well. Jonathan and I were having regular dialogue, basically following all the draft picks and kind of shooting each other feedback after pretty much every pick. And there were 19 picks that the Yankees made. 17 college, one junior college, and one high school. So I'm going to go through. We're going to recap every one of them briefly. So, and again, anybody in here that's not subscribed to the channel, hope you enjoy the content enough to do that, and hope you enjoy the content enough to hit a like up, hit the thumbs up button as well. We greatly appreciate it. Jonathan, how we doing, my man?
I'm doing good. I've had some time to reevaluate this draft, and that Kirby is a very interesting choice. I honestly thought they would go for a high end pitcher, but the one interesting thing that I noticed because they drafted two infielders in a row, I wouldn't be surprised if they make they trade some of the infield prospects.
Yeah, we're going to get into that too because that's an interesting component. I mean, of the 19 picks the Yankees made, 5 of them were shortstops.
Yes.
Now, there's a lot of different ways you can think about this, right? Does that mean, oh man, is Anthony Volpe in trouble? Or does this make it easier to trade guys like Roderick Arias or Manny Cedeno, who's the number 13 prospect, the 16-year-old shortstop? Because they're also going to be, right now, they're the favorites to sign Juan Diaz Assagen. He's the 16-year-old shortstop from the Dominican Republic. Another shortstop. So, but this is a position that is generally the most versatile position. Shortstop tend to be the more athletic of the groups that can move to third and second, and sometimes the outfield. So there's a reason why they draft a lot of catchers, and they're also sometimes the most tradable pieces. So, and they'll keep some, they'll develop some, they'll trade some, and that's just kind of the modus operandi for not only the Yankees but a lot of teams. This draft was super duper heavy in shortstops, not only for the Yankees, for everybody. So the first pick in the draft, shortstop. So, and we'll get into that as well. But the first pick, we'll get right into this. 39, like Jonathan mentioned, Dax Kirby. Okay, that to me is kind of like a James Bond type of name, right? What's your name, Kirby?
Kirby. Yeah.
That's a James
A
Bond.
short, simple name, and everybody will remember it.
Yeah, this kid he's a high school player. He's one of the more advanced bats. He bats on the lefty side, 6'2", about 190 pounds. Okay, he's one of the better contact guys in the prep scene, and he was their first pick at 39. Okay, now this guy he has a 55 grade hit and run. He's great. He grades as a plus prospect. So his skills can translate pretty well. His bat's already polished, and he's very athletic. One of the knocks on him that I heard when watching the draft was potential lack of arm strength, right, from shortstop. So could he be a guy to move over to second base because of that? Maybe, but I'm guessing that's something they'll work on. But he's also athletic enough to stay at shortstop too. Um, Jonathan, what's your take on that, man? What do you think
Well,
about
I think based on everything that I've heard, I think he could be a better fit at second base. And the Yankees already have so many shortstops. The one thing that that I question is if they have since they have Lombard who they want, why would they choose another second baseman, another shortstop? And that might tell me that they see long term as Lombard at third.
I think Lombard is either the solution at third or he's the only guy that poses a potential threat to Anthony Volpe should they decide to go down that route. That's not, we're not there yet. Volpe's
No.
a shortstop until he's no longer the shortstop.
Yeah.
So There's no point in entertaining conspiracy theories and all this other type of stuff. It just doesn't make any sense right now. So, but along the lines, I mean, their second pick was pick 104. Keep in mind, they didn't have a second round pick because they had to forfeit that to sign Max Fried. So that was a justified forfeiture. So, but the third pick, second pick was the third rounder, 104 overall was Keenan Kent, another
King,
lefty shortstop. Okay, but this is
yeah,
a college guy now. The only high school pick was their first pick. Okay, and Keenan Kent, again, he's 21-year-old junior, 6'2", 200 pounds from Texas A&M. So he's an SEC guy, and he's also the son of one of the best second basemen in baseball history, Jeff Kent, the San Francisco Giants. So he's a polished hitter. And one of the great features on his part is that he hits lefties extremely well on the lefty side. So if anybody, and he's got positional versatility, he plays short, second, and third. So if anybody can move around the infield, maybe he
yeah.
can even get reps at first base. So he's a guy that I can see sticking around. What do you think, Jonathan?
The one thing I think he, out of all the first two picks, I think he's most likely to move to second base.
Mm-hmm.
He has a very high contact bat he can hit. He has a very high baseball IQ, which is something the Yankees really need in the infield, especially. So I do hope there's obviously they need to sign these guys, but I'm hoping. Look, I like all the many of their picks, and he could possibly be a long term second baseman if
Mm-hmm.
he develops well.
And so far, they've already signed one of their draft picks, their ninth rounder, Blake Gillespie. So
Yeah,
I don't know what the numbers. The slot was around 190 grand or something like that. They haven't come up with the number yet, so we don't know whether he signed over slot or under slot. But he has put pen to paper, so he's one down. They have 18 to go. So, but I agree. Caden Kent is another guy, and again, these college guys, especially if you look at the guys that and we'll go over them. Almost every pick that the Yankees drafted that was from college was a junior or a senior. So they're older, they're more established, they're more physically developed, right? They have better baseball IQ, and if any of them gets up to the majors or the high levels of the minors, their path is probably going to be shorter or quicker because they're going to start at probably a higher point, right? So he's a guy that I could see starting at high A and get up to double A pretty quickly, Caden Kent. Um, and what
yeah.
do you think, Jonathan? What do you think he's going to start at?
Blake Gillespie.
Caden Kent, the second one.
He's probably going to start in Tampa.
Tampa, high A.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what's your?
I think he could start in Tampa,
I
depending on what room.
What about Kilby?
Kilby, maybe the lower grade,
Rookie ball?
yeah, Hudson Valley.
Hudson Valley, low A. Yeah, and again, he's a guy that these guys can rocket up the system, right? And I do think these guys, they're drafted, they're top two picks for a reason. And once these guys, and the same thing goes for the pitchers, once these players are developmentally optimized, right? A lot of these guys have advanced skill sets already, but once they get a hold of the Yankees, get a hold of them, they optimize their developmental components. They're going to move up the system pretty quickly.
I mean, it's possible that Pico Khan, the next guy, depending if he's healthy enough, he might start in Somerset, but I don't think they're going to move anybody to Double A so soon.
And he's the next pick, gang. It's 134 overall. This is the fourth round pick. Pico Khan, like Jonathan said. He's a left-handed pitcher from Mississippi State. Okay, 114 strikeouts in 80 innings pitched. Now this guy has a kind of an unorthodox windup and delivery. So, and he's also pretty tall from the lefty side. So, if anybody can rocket through the system, it's probably a guy like Pico Khan.
And that's why I think that if anybody in this draft can start in Double A, it might be him. But I think it's highly unlikely that anybody would.
Yeah, I mean, like
They're
the
not going to
guys,
rush people.
yeah, the guys even last year, Ben Hess and Bryce Cunningham, neither one of them started in Double A. They started at low A or high A.
Low A.
And and they're both in the top 10 prospects. So, but Pico Khan is a guy that I can see in the top 10 prospects in short time,
Yeah.
especially with his physical just size and unorthodox windup from the lefty side, generating a lot of strikeouts. He's a guy, and he's already 22 years old. I could see him move up to Double A, even Triple A in a pretty quick time. The next pick after him is Core Jackson, pick 164 from the University of Utah. Um,
Yeah,
21 years old.
another shortstop.
Another shortstop. Yep. 364 hitter, 1086 OPS. So a guy, and a lot of these guys the Yankees are drafting are contact guys. Well, one of the biggest weaknesses the Yankees have had recently are contact skills, right? Especially from infielders. They're drafting a lot of contact oriented type infielders right now. So what's your take on Core Jackson, John?
I think he's the one that's most likely to stick at shortstop. He has a average arm, solid runner, and had good bat to ball skills. He's most likely going to be a doubles hitter more than a power hitter. So I think he's going to give you a similar game to Brett Gardner. I don't know about his speed, but he's going to give you a similar at bat at
Yeah.
the plate at least.
Which is what we kind of need with the Yankees, right? That's what I'm hoping that Anthony Volpe, if he stays, continues to develop. I'd be willing to sacrifice home runs for a higher batting average and more stolen bases and singles and doubles and just good defense. Like if he bats 270, plays good defense and hits like 20 doubles and 20 steals, I'll sign up for it all day.
My ideal lineup would be 3 power hitters and 6 contact bats.
Which would be a nice balanced lineup.
Yes.
Be a nice balanced lineup. Next up, Rory Fox, another pitcher. This is a right-handed pitcher from the University of Notre Dame, pick 194. He's a junior. He has a 97 mile an hour fastball, 81 mile an hour slider. So he's got almost a 20 mile an hour differential between his fastball and his slider. So if he could develop a third pitch, that's an out pitch. He's another guy that I think he can rocket through the system as well.
Yeah,
He's a guy. And the batters only bat 180 against them. So he has the ability to get guys out and not get hit hard.
yeah. I think he would be a very good bullpen piece.
He could be.
He could be a very good long man out of the bullpen.
Yep, I agree.
And, I do expect when the Yankees make trades, they're going to be focused on trading some pitchers. That's why they had another pitcher heavy draft.
Well, yeah, and it's one of the things I'm hearing already from a scout is that the Diamondbacks are targeting young pitching from the Yankees.
Yes, I think you mentioned that once.
Yeah, they are targeting young pitching over Spencer Jones. So, which is it's kind of a breath of fresh air. But yeah, they're also looking to move on from some outfielders, the Diamondbacks right now. They have like 3 of them on the market right now. So trying to add Spencer Jones, just doesn't really make sense to me for the Diamondbacks perspective.
Starting pitching.
Yeah, starting pitching. And how about a third baseman to replace Suarez? Yeah. Maybe Peraza and maybe Roderick Arias.
Yeah, I honestly think Roderick Arias is going to get traded. I think
that was the first thing I thought when they drafted 5 shortstops.
Yeah,
one of their top shortstops is going to get moved. Arias is blocked by Lombard anyway, right? He's a switch hitter, and he hasn't even started his service clock yet. But he would be a pretty good player for a team that can actually utilize him.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if Lagrange is traded as well.
Lagrange or Henry Lelane.
But Lelane is hurt. That's the only thing.
Yep, he is hurt.
It trades his trade. It hurts his trade value.
He doesn't have any stats in 2025. He hasn't pitched all year. But we do know he has a big arm. So he would be a developmental risky piece for a team that wants a big arm.
I know that's the only reason why I don't know if teams would want him. They may want him as a throw-in piece, but not as the main piece.
Yep, this is true. The next guy, pick 224. This is a guy I'm intrigued with, too. He's a speedy outfielder. Richard Bonamalo Jr. He's an outfielder from the University of Alabama. You guys noticing a trend? A lot of SEC guys.
Yeah.
A lot of SEC players.
And this guy is fast. He might be faster than Brett Gardner.
Yep, he's got some speed. 21 years old. He's got a 311 batting average right now, 943 OPS. 26 steals, but 76 in his collegiate tenure. This guy can run around the bases pretty good. And he's a right-handed hitter. He's a speedy outfielder. And again, another versatile player. And the Yankees are not that deep in their outfield prospects.
And they also have him as they say he can stay in center field.
Yes, and that's another plus too.
That would definitely help guys like Judge.
Yep, and keep in mind when they promote guys, they're going to need some of these draft picks to fill in those spots that were just empty by the promoted player. So some of these guys will fill in the layers of the system, and then that's why there's so many layers of the system in baseball. That's why there's 20 rounds in the draft because they have to fill in all these spots, all the teams. So, but
They used to be 40.
yeah, it used to be 40 rounds. It used to be 40 rounds.
Before that, there was 50.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's not like basketball where there's two, or football where there's seven. It's 20 freaking rounds here in baseball. So, after Richard Bonamalo was Mac Hewer. He's a right-handed pitcher from Texas Tech. This guy's a big boy. They like their hard-throwing big righties, right? This guy's 6'4", 270 pounds, has a 98 to 99 mile an hour fastball, and he's a project though. But he's averaging about 13 Ks per 9 innings.
He's a big strikeout guy.
A big strikeout guy who could be, a project for somebody like Matt Blake, who tends to do a good job with these project type guys. But they like
I honestly think he fits his profile, at least from what I read, fits best as a closer.
Mhm. Like a power closer.
I think he could be a great power closer if, based on everything that I've read.
Yeah, and we don't have a long-term solution right now, power closer, right? We don't. We don't know if Devin Williams is going to be back. We don't know if Luke Weaver is going to be back. That's why there's so much talk about adding relievers and closers at the deadline. So, and we'll see what they do in 2 weeks. Next up is Jared Spencer. Pick 284 is a left-handed pitcher from the University of Texas.
Yeah,
Another 72 strikeouts and 53 innings pitched. So another guy that averages 12 or 13 strikeouts per 9 innings.
yeah,
So,
Jared Spencer. They didn't put him on this list.
yeah, he was picked 284.
Well, they had Blake Gillespie at 284, so that this must be an outdated list. Let me
But he's
anyway, continue.
Blake Gillespie is the next pick, so he's pre-picked 314. He's a right-handed pitcher. Excuse me, right-handed pitcher from Charlotte, from University of Charlotte. 7-4 with a 2.51 ERA. He's 131 strikeouts and 100 innings pitched. He's another big K guy. The Yankees like these big K guys, right? I mean, Fernando Cruz isn't a super hard throw, but he averages like 15 Ks every 9 innings. That's crazy. That's a lot of Ks. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to him coming back and hopefully, helping the bullpen out. But guys like this could be good fits around the bullpen for guys like Matt Blake. So utilize. He's a guy more can perform too.
Yeah, the Yankees also need strikeout guys more because their ballpark is meant for fly balls.
Yep, it's true. Yep. Next up is pick 344. Ben Grable is a right-handed pitcher from the University of Indiana, and he's a relief pitcher now. So he's got 56 innings pitched, 65 strikeouts. He's 23 years old, and he's got like right around a 4 ERA. So he's a project guy. That again, Matt Blake is known for lowering the ERA of relief pitchers that he works with. So we've seen it with Clay Holmes, who came here as like almost 6 ERA, and in 2.5 years he had like a 2.80 ERA with the Yankees, despite the 6,000 blown saves. So that's what he does. But that's pick 344. And you stop me at any point in time if you have any thoughts about any of these players, Jonathan. Next up is go ahead.
Ben Grable, a Northwestern. The only thing that I didn't like when I saw him, I didn't like his ERA. So if they can figure out a way to lower his ERA and have more control of his pitches,
Yep.
he could be a solid option.
A lot of these guys I think are developmental. They need to add another pitch to the arsenal, right?
Yeah.
But I agree. Ben Grable's a guy that can. He's a guy that a lot of these like I don't see any of these guys as being super flashy. But I see a lot of upside in a lot of these guys. And like I said, if they optimize their developmental skill set, he has some good value in this draft for the Yankees. Not sexy picks, but a lot of good depth across the board. Next up is Camden Troyer, is an outfielder from Liberty University, left-handed bat, 22 years old, got 10 homers, 44 ribbies this year, 300 hitter with a 930 OPS. Another contact guy. right? He's
And
got that.
his on base percentage was 406.
Yeah,
So the Yankees are drafting a lot of contact bats and not power.
and get on.
They're slowly getting away from the power.
Yeah, yeah. And contact bats are easier to develop with power as opposed to the other way around. It's harder to turn a power guy into a more contact oriented guy. It's easier to turn a contact guy and add power to him. So
And I agree with Steve. I think Gillespie could be the sleeper pick of
he could
the
be.
entire draft.
He's one of the guys that I have a star next to. I have him, Rico Pico Khan, and Richard Bonamalo, three guys that I have a star next to, as well as Dax Kilby. So four guys I have a star next to. Next up is Kyle West, pick 404.
Kyle West.
He's from West Virginia. He's a guy that plays first base and outfield, so he's got that versatility. He's a junior and a senior actually. He's a lefty bat. He's an All Big 12 player. 339 batting average, 11 homers, 38 ribbies, and a 1088 OPS. So again, another contact guy.
Yeah, I like that pick. If he can play first base, solid first base, and he could be a first base of the future after, depending on what they do with Cody Bellinger,
And what have the Yankees been lacking recently? Corner infielders.
quarter infield.
Right now, at a high level, I mean, TJ Rumfield is the only one I can think of.
TJ Runfield is the only first baseman they have that can have any immediate impact.
Yeah,
And I have a feeling he might get traded at the deadline.
he could. But if you have a first baseman who can also play outfield, then it shows that that's an athletic type first baseman. So that's a good thing. Next up is Brennan Stuprich. Stuprich. I butcher these names. I apologize, guys. These names are a little confusing.
Yeah.
He's a right-handed pitcher from Southeast Louisiana, SEC again. 23-year-old senior, 4-5 with a 2.80 ERA, 90 innings pitched, 109 strikeouts, and a WHIP of 1.06. So across the board, developmentally balanced.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who's that?
Tom Gordon.
Flash Gordon. That's a good comparison.
Yeah. I think he has the making of a Tom Gordon.
That's a good comparison.
Tom Gordon was small, but he could still pitch.
Yeah. Yeah, he was 5'8", maybe, something like that, but he pitched like he was 6'6". Yeah. That's a good comparison. I like that. Next up is pick 464, Jack Siebert, a right-hand pitcher from Texas Tech. 23-year-old senior, 7-3 with a 3.60 ERA, so another ERA in the threes. But he's got 68 innings pitched and 54 Ks, 1.36 WHIP, and he averages about, let's see, he averages a little over. He averages about 9 strikeouts per 9 innings, so about a strikeout per innings pitched. So again, another project guy. When they draft these guys in the later rounds, a lot of these guys are developmental players. So
My only concern with him is his control. If he can get his control on, then I think he could be a valuable.
Yeah. One of the things I did notice about a lot of these pitchers is that they walk a hell of a lot. I mean, they strike out a hell of a lot more guys than they walk, which is good. Sometimes in a 3-to-4 ratio, 4-to-1 ratio, which is what we need, right? Better control. So next up, excuse me, Jackson Lovich, another shortstop from Missouri, University of Missouri. He's a 21-year-old junior, 357 batting average, 1052 OPS, 12 homers and 51 ribbies. Another contact bat, right? Contact bats through the system everywhere. And if you can keep them at contact bats and develop them through the system, that's going to be a better trajectory for either major leagues at the Yankees level or trades, right? Trade contact bats. I mean, who do I want to? Who have I talked about trading for the last 2 years? One player.
Yeah,
Brendan Donovan.
Donovan.
He is a contact bat. Contact bat extraordinaire across the board.
And you also wanted the guy on Pittsburgh.
Brian Reynolds at some point.
Reynolds.
Yep. I don't want him anymore. We don't need him. But Brendan Donovan, he's leading the National League in batting. I don't know if you noticed. If anybody noticed, the National League does not have a single player over 300 batting average. Not one.
No, I didn't notice that.
He noted he's leading the NL with 295. But if you look at him, even at the All-Star game, he was 2 for 3. He's a He's a guy that I hope Anthony Volpe can mold himself after because he runs the bases with reckless abandon. He does a lot of the little things. He bunts, he runs the guys over, hits the balls into the gap. He
Yeah.
gets pulled to one on occasion. He's the type of guy that can get you 25 doubles and 25 steals and then a good batting average and good
And
defense.
that is one thing I'm wondering why Anthony Volpe never worked on learning how to bunt better. If he learned how to bunt, he could be a much more valuable piece on this team. Right now, Volpe sometimes feels like a bigger problem than he is.
He's got to work on some things developmental. He definitely does. Um, now we're down to the last four picks, gang. All right. Pick 524, Ryan Osinski, right-handed pitcher from University of Virginia, 21-year-old junior, is 2-2 with a higher ERA in the mid fives, 21 innings pitched, 22 strikeouts. A developmental guy here too, obviously. Um, Pick 554, Justin West from Louisville, left-handed pitcher, 21-year-old junior, 2-2 with a mid five ERA as well, 52 strikeouts in 37 innings pitched. So he can generate some Ks.
One thing about Ozinski is he was a closer in college, so he could be also another valuable bullpen arm.
Yep. Yep. Anytime you get closers from college, I mean they can either turn into a closer or they can turn into a middle innings guy or something like that too. And we need some middle innings guys here. We just need some fresh arms, reliable arms. Right? A lot of our reliable arms are on the IL right now. Um, so I'm glad that they're loading up on some of these guys that were, more relief types and less starting types. We have a lot.
And also, I'm reading an article that was posting yesterday. Justin West signed with the Yankees.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, that's what this article posted yesterday.
All right, so does that make him the second player?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you
It,
go.
it says nothing about his and this is from a Kentucky newspaper.
Kentucky News. Let me see if I can pull.
I
Justin.
I can send this to you.
Drafted. Yeah, send it over.
I send it to you in the chat. It's right there.
Okay. Okay, cool. Kentucky schools. Let's see if I can pull this up really quickly. If I get off screen, my apologies. I'm still here. Yeah, he does. July 16 confirmation. He signs with the Yankees. He forfeit. Yep. He forfeited his senior year and he officially signed with the Yankees. That's the second player the Yankees have signed. So thank you, Jonathan. Two guys now. Two guys. Second to last pick. Hayden Morris, another big boy from Blinn College. This is the junior college pick. Right?
6'8".
Pitcher. Yep. 6'8", 265 pounds, a big boy. 20-year-old right-handed pitcher. But he has no stats in 2025. And Jonathan and I were talking about this. We couldn't find any stats. So he must be rehabbing from something. Right?
And I think out of every pick, he's going to be the one hard that's going to be the most difficult to sign
Why do you say that?
because first of all, he went bottom of the draft, so he's in junior college. He's only 20 years old, so he might. If he thinks he can get better, he might be going to the draft next year, picking at a higher pick and getting more money.
Could be like Jack Bauer, too, who wasn't signed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Bauer's that lefty. He used to prep
I,
lefty.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's the last man on the board that gets signed if he signs.
Good. We're gonna keep tabs on this. Well, anytime the Yankees sign somebody, we'll put out content so that you know, and we'll keep in track of all the guys that they sign because it's important. Because once they sign them, then they can start deploying them right to the farm.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Last year there was a website. I think it was Pinstripe Alley that was very good with the up to date signings. This year they haven't been very good.
yeah, I haven't found much reliable stuff down. I'm just finding bits and pieces here and there
Yeah.
from sources and whatnot. But the final pick, 614, another son of a major leaguer, Former major leaguer. Bryce Martin Grudelazanik, son of former major leaguer Mark Grudelazanik, was another really good infielder. He's a shortstop from USC, another college shortstop. So middle stats pretty solid across the board. Another contact bat, right? So, and that's the draft, gang. So, as you can see, a ton of contact bats, right? A lot of high batting average guys. A lot more relievers than I thought. And it's probably a better
Yeah.
balance of relievers and starters. Last year was pretty much mostly starters.
It was all every pick except two was pitchers.
Yeah. So now there's more of a balance between position players. I mean, five
And there were,
shortstops. You got a couple
I
outfielders.
think the one position they didn't draft was a catcher.
They didn't draft a catcher, you're right? But they've got a robust pipeline in
They
catching.
got they got a lot of catchers.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, JC Scar has more than a better than 50% chance of being traded.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think he could be traded.
would you call up Rafael Flores as the guy to replace him? No,
Yes,
because he's got a
yes.
cannon.
I would. I would call up Flores as soon as they have a major league ready spot for him. I think he's ready. I think he's the best defensive catcher that they have,
Yep.
and that's important, especially if you want to do a late game switch.
Yeah. You need that. You need to maintain defensive or improve defensive in the late innings. 100%. So all in all, Jonathan, what's your take in this draft? How do you think the Yankees did?
I think they did very well for their needs. Obviously, there was a bunch of players that I would have preferred, but it's much harder. It's much harder when you lose 10 spots and you lose signing money.
Yep. It is. It is. I mean,
And I think that's the one thing that should stop. I mean, when I don't think teams should be penalized for improving their team.
I don't.
If you want to penalize the team, you should penalize them for doing nothing. If you're like the Oakland A's, they spend years and years just not doing anything, trading away all their 2001 team because 2001 was the last year A's were any good.
Yep.
They let everybody go, and since then they downplayed the team until they were basically said nobody's coming to our stadium because we suck. We're moving to Las Vegas. Las
Yep.
Vegas.
Coach Carl, no credible whispers yet. Just a lot of chatter, trade proposals, this, that, ideas, and blah blah blah. But believe me, once we get something with teeth, I will put it out if it has teeth that's corroborated. So
Grace, have you seen him pitch?
yeah,
Caden?
Grace. Yeah, hello, Grace. How are you?
Hi, Grace.
Grace Monroe. Texas is a huge state for baseball, high school and college. I mean,
Yes.
pitchers. I mean, Roger Clemens, University of Texas, a Longhorn. So
Andy Pettit.
Andy Pettit and Nolan Ryan. So some of the best ever from Texas. And I Blinn is a well-known JUCO, and they're close to Texas. And then now they have, the Yankees have a deeper Texas connection. So I know Texas A&M is known. And how do you think? How do you feel about the Texas picks? Now, how do you feel about Caden Kent? Grace.
Caden Kent. I think he's gonna. I think he has the potential to take off the glasses and strike you out. And
Um,
not strike you out, but basically do the. You're gonna have some Superman references when you see him play.
yeah. And we got an alumnus here. Grace is an alumnus from Texas A&M.
Yeah.
All right. Are they the Aggies? Is it the Aggies?
Yeah, Kent is a shortstop, so
Caden Kent is a shortstop
yeah.
who also plays second and third. So,
Yeah.
but he's another polished hitter at the college level.
As I said earlier, I think he will move to second base and he will be a good defensive with a high batting average.
Yeah, and to Grace's point, he doesn't. You're right. He doesn't give away bats. He hits lefties extremely well.
Yeah.
He's a guy that I could see being a reliable piece here for the Yankees. And could he be an option to, let's just say, for all intents and purposes, they trade Ben Rice. They sell high on Ben Rice. Could he be a guy that could be transitioned to first base?
First base?
Baseball IQ. He's got a lefty bat.
Maybe if he can. I don't know if he's well.
Yeah,
It all depends. For lefty, they have it will depend if they re-sign Cody Bellinger because I think the future. Although Cody Bellinger is a good outfield, I think the Yankees have so many outfielders that in order to stay here long term, Bellinger will have to play first base.
yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Like if Bellinger gets
That's why they won't go after Murakami.
that's it could. Yeah. I mean, do they even need to with Bellinger? With Bellinger too, do you even need to go after Kyle Tucker?
I don't know.
Because their stats aren't that different, and Bellinger's going to cost 400 million less than Kyle Tucker would.
Yeah, because let's just say for argument's sake, Yankees offer Bellinger a 5-year, $120 million deal.
24 million.
For argument's sake, 24 million. Do you think he takes a deal like that, or he wants a little bit more?
You might have to go to.
Maybe 25 million,
Yeah, you might have to go maybe 130, 26
130.
million. Keep in mind, 130. That's you got to multiply that by 4 to get Kyle Tucker. Tucker, I can't see Tucker signing for under 500 million.
No, no, I do not see that, especially since ever since Otani blew up the market, everybody will want to aim for 700 million.
It's elevating the thresholds of the salaries right below the 700 million.
I mean, Otani's contract made Judge look like a bargain.
Yeah, make Judge look like he's playing for pennies on the dollar.
And I remember when A-Rod signed the $252 million, I was like, how could they give them so much money?
Yeah,
$25 million a year in the year 2000 was
it was.
it was,
Well, he was traded to the Yankees in 2004.
but he signed the contract
2001
in
maybe.
Texas in 2001, just before 2001 season.
Yep.
So that was a $25.2 million a year at a time when no one was making. I think Jeter was next at 18.9.
Right. Yeah, it was either right before that or right after that. Manny Ramirez and got about 8 years, 160. Jeter got 10 years, 189. It was right around that time. Those three contracts. We were like, oh
Yeah.
my god, what's going on here now?
Kevin Brown actually was the first one to get over 100 million in '99
Yep.
or '98.
Yep. Anybody know? Anybody knew who the first player to make $1 million a year salary in the majors?
Million? I know who the first was. 100,000.
Babe Ruth.
No,
Who was it?
Joe DiMaggio.
Maggio? I'll give you guys a hint. It starts with N and it rhymes with Olin Ryan.
Nolan Ryan.
Oh shit! How'd you guess? The
Nolan Ryan.
first $1 million a year player was Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
Million
I
dollars.
thought I thought it may have been Catfish Hunter.
Yeah, it was Lynn Nolan Ryan. His name was Lynn.
Yeah.
His middle name is Nolan Ryan.
Wow.
Don't call him Lynn because he'll take you out. So, but this, all in all, I mean, Grace, if you're still in here, how do you feel about the Yankees draft? Are you happy? I think they found a good amount of value, some underrated value, and there's a couple of players that I think they could rocket up the system pretty quickly, like Pico Khan, Dax Kilby, another guy, Richard Bonamolo Jr., that outfielder. Because beyond Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez, who do we have in the outfield? You have Everson Pereira, and there's a good chance he might get traded.
Yeah, I think he's on the trading block as well.
I'm talking to Ken about this too. I would try to get that Ronnie Henriquez reliever from the Marlins. They line up nicely with the Marlins for a trade, and they've been scouting Pereira for like 2 years. I would try to go Pereira and maybe another prospect to the Marlins for Enriquez. Is a reliever.
I could see the three teams I see the Yankees trading with is Marlins, possible Diamondbacks, and the one that I always tell you about,
Pirates?
Pirates. And there's another team that I like. I told you about it. It's
Twins?
uh, I don't know. I have to think about it.
Brandon Jones is another good outfield prospect too, but I think he's in the low levels of the system. Brandon Jones, if I'm not mistaken.
Huh. This is interesting.
What's
A
that?
Dallas court judge sentenced Chiefs wide receiver Rashid Rice to 5 years probation and 30 days of jail time.
That just happened.
Yeah, 7 minutes ago.
30 days of jail and 5 years of probation. Okay, what did he do?
I'm reading the article.
So Brandon
It's
Jones.
for 5 years for uh, stemming his role in a multi-crash car in Dallas. A multi-car crash in Dallas.
Okay, was he a drunk driver or something, or what the hell?
I don't know. I'll send this to you and you can read it.
Brendan Jones, right now, is batting. He plays multiple outfield positions, so he's versatile. He's 23 years old. He's in Double A. He's batting. Was he batting? Looks like 241 in Double A, with 3 homers and 24 ribbies, 7 doubles, um, 15 walks. Guy, he's got a fair amount of stolen bases too. Um,
This morning, Bobby Malone said Cashman could have a clear path to either go after Suarez or McMahon.
Joey Bag of Donuts from the shift. What's happening, man? What's up, brother? We were just
So,
recapping the draft. All the,
recapping, yeah.
all the picks from the draft, man. Give us your feedback too, brother. What do you think about the draft? I mean, a clear a clear path to the Diamondbacks. I could see. I don't see the Yankees adding one of those pitchers because I don't think it makes sense to.
No.
I don't think Gallen or Merrill Kelly are an upgrade over Luis Hill and Cam Schlittler. I don't see the point.
The biggest need for the Yankees right now is a third baseman.
And a third baseman and a lot of bullpen,
Yeah.
right? And you let me know what your thoughts are, Jonathan and Joey and Tyler and Jake. And let me know what your thoughts about this too. When it comes to Luis Hill and when it comes to Ryan Yarborough, when they come back, because they're both coming off injuries, I would start these guys in long relief and not in the
Yeah.
Why?
I think I told you last year that I see long term. I think long term Luis Hill should be a bullpen. I even thought that at one point Hill could be a closer.
Yeah, well, Merrill Kelly's an upgrade in the playoffs, Tyler. So I would do that situation if they move Luis Hill to long relief. And I'll get
And
into
I don't think they're getting J Ram.
Yeah, I honestly, Carl, unless you're willing to give up Dominguez or Lombard, I can't see it happening. More specifically, Lombard. Um, that's going to have to be a piece to get a guy like J. But keep in mind too, he's a superstar, but he's 33 years old. Also, at one point does he start declining? If he was
Yeah.
3 years younger, yeah, I would be all over it. Now, I would be a little bit more apprehensive depending on the package. But he's one of the best.
There could be one guy that I'm interested to see if they trade, and I'm curious if they trade Brock Selbit because
Selby, I can see.
I think he's on the trading block.
I can see him. Yeah, I can see him being traded.
If he's not on, if he doesn't end up getting traded, I think he could be called up in the bullpen.
Could happen. Now, a lot of folks keep mentioning Gallen and Merrill Kelly. If Gallen or Merrill Kelly added to Suarez means Jones, I say no.
Giancarlo said I give him incomplete for now.
I'm not grading anybody now. We're talking about the draft.
No,
Right?
we're not grading anybody.
The only way, I'm not giving Jones for any rental.
No.
Or multiple rentals. Doesn't
No.
make any sense.
Well, as I told you earlier, the only guy I would be comfortable giving up Jones, and this is a trade that would never happen, would be for Skeens.
Skeens, or I would add Tarek Skubal to it.
Tarek Skubal as well.
And
Skeens and Skubal, I'm trading Jones and Schlittler.
without hesitation. Without hesitation. I would do the same. Um, but like Carroll, I mean, going back to what I was saying, like try to put the piece of this puzzle together. Luis Hill and Ryan Yarborough. What happens generally with the starting pitching in the playoffs? They give less length, right? They throw less innings because they're pitching up against better lineups now
Yeah.
on a regular basis. So, would you rather? Let's just say Carlos Rodon gets bombed or Max Fried gets bombed when they last 3 innings, right? Would you rather use the bullpen for 6 innings, knowing you have another game tomorrow, or somebody like Ryan Yarbrough can come in and give him 4 innings, or Luis Hill can come in and give darts for 4 innings, and
I,
that could
I
be
I would use like you said, I would take Yabo or Lewis Hill. That's one reason why I would put Hill in the bullpen. First of all, he's coming back from injury, so you're only going to have him for maybe 2 months if you're lucky. And second of all, he can pitch a lot more out of the bullpen. And next year, you work him up to be a starter.
well. That's yeah, exactly. It's got to be coming off an injury. I want to protect these guys
Yes.
like Hill and again, there's no uh, what starting pitchers are are going to be difference makers right now. They're going to be available at the trade deadline.
Not many.
Not
If
many. Merrill Kelly doesn't move the needle as much as we need him to. Neither does Zach Gallen. Now, and it's not enough time for Blake to work his magic. I mean, if Freddie Peralta happens, that's going to cost a big piece,
Yeah.
right?
And if we're trading for Peralta, I might as well trade for Skeens or Scoobel.
Well, exactly. And again, the reason why I'm also proposing Hill and Yarborough is with the understanding that these big arms are not going to be made available at the trade deadline. So how can we improve the middle part of this pitching right now without having to tax the bullpen? Right? We can bring in as many relievers as I can, but short relievers, they will get worn out if the pitchers don't give them length. So we have two guys that are converted starters to a degree. Luis Hill is, and Ryan Yarbrough is kind of a long relief guy who we can
Boone
put right in
said,
long relief. And that's the
Boone
difference.
said Hill wasn't going to the bullpen.
Boone said Hill wasn't going to well. Well, maybe not now. He said he was going to be built as a starter. Okay, but again, why is Cash out? What starter is he after? That's going to make a difference. And I know that he's after a starter. I'm just giving you my take on why I would put Hill in long relief. Because no matter what starter he gets, if that starter comes in and he gets knocked around after 3 innings, what are you going to do? You're going to use 8 pitchers, right? Long relief is the difference between using 8 pitchers and using 3, and saving the other 6 guys for the next day, right? And this to me is a logical thing to think about. And I know that they're thinking about it behind the scenes. I know that he's pursuing a starting pitcher, but who is he pursuing that's going to move the needle?
I think Hill probably has one or two more starts in the minors before being called up.
Probably.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing he's gonna be called up in the. Oh, sorry about that.
Great.
I'm guessing he's gonna be uh, called up in the either in August or September.
Probably. And I'm fine. Look, if they only have 1 yard long man, if it's Yarborough and you keep Hill in rotation, I'm fine with that too. But again, I don't want to throw Luis Hill to the wolves and have him get hurt again. That's why I'd rather have him throw darts for 3 innings, maybe twice a week, as opposed to trying to give him a lot of length. Yeah, exactly. I've talked about this for years, Brian York. You get 2 long relievers, it serves as a security blanket for the starting rotation and the short relievers. That middle component that not a lot of teams have, but the best teams also have long relievers. What happened what did the Dodgers use last year? Long relievers in the World Series. A lot of their starters were hurt. They had a ton of long relievers, right? So, and it served them well. I mean, keep in mind, there's not, unless you can get Freddie Peralta. And I have a feeling Freddie Peralta is going to go to a team like the Tigers or the Astros.
Yeah, I think the Tigers are gonna make trades, but remember one thing: the Orioles have all the prospect capital that every team wants.
Mhm.
I expect them to make some deal, even though they're not. They're not.
You're gonna have to trade position players for pitchers because they don't
Yeah.
have pitching, right?
But remember the. This is what I always think in terms of new ownership. I go by the George Steinbrenner era.
Yes, we do, Grace.
Joy,
Yes, we
new ownership needs
do.
3 years to build a playoff contending team. That's just based on George Steinbrenner.
Mhm.
So the next, as you know, Steve Cohen is trying it, and he did this. He made the same mistake that George Steinbrenner did at the beginning, which is just buying all the players
Yep.
and hoping they can win.
Yep.
Without any regards to building up a farm system.
Yep. And that's what he did. And to your point too, Duran, they might. I think the one thing Warren has, well, there's one thing Hill has that Warren doesn't have is a super electric arm. But the one
Yeah.
thing Warren has that Hill does not have is durability.
Yes.
So there's a chance that he might stay in the rotation and Hill might be long relief. This is why I'm proposing this because it has to be, in my opinion, and again, I don't work for the Yankees; they don't pay me for this stuff. But um,
Everything here is opinions.
yeah, and again, it's based on past performance, data, and what we're looking at with our own with our very own eyes. So, Coach Carl, I don't know if Baltimore's going. to I mean, the Brewers are going to be a seller, especially now that they have that pitcher, Jacob Mizorowski, that new kid. They may not sell. They might not because they're always kind of lurking around. So, but if they do trade Peralta, they're going to get a hefty package for him.
Lewis Hill could be nuts as a closer. I think so. I always thought, even last year, I always thought Lewis Hill would be a good closer.
hmm Yeah, again, he whether it's one inning or 2 innings or 3 innings, I'll take those darts from Louis Hill. If Matt Blake can work on just the rein in the control, he's got a huge arm.
I wouldn't ask Matt Blake for help. I would ask Mariano Rivera. He was perfect in the
Teach him,
control.
teach him the cutter, man.
Teach him the cutter. You
Yeah,
don't have to throw. You don't have to throw 98 miles an hour on every pitch.
he had one pitch. No one in the world can hit it for 20 years. Like, what the frick is? Yeah, one pitch. That's it.
And he taught Roy Halladay to pitch it,
Yeah,
and Halladay beat us.
this is Joey Joe. Yeah, this is something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
It's the reason why they won't be sellers, right? They might try to add.
Well,
They
and
might-
another thing I would tell you, based on the expanded playoff, I personally would move back the trade deadline by 2 weeks.
yeah. There's logic to that too, man. There's
Yeah,
logic.
because ever since they expanded the trade deadline, it makes more sense. Expanded the playoffs, it makes more sense to have a later trade deadline because what happened on July 31st can be very different than what happens on August
Yep.
14th.
Yep.
I mean, one of your stars can go down. One
Look
of
what
your
look what happened in the span of 2 weeks for the Yankees. They went from 7 games up to second place
yes.
in 2 weeks. That's July 31st to August 15th.
So that's why in the next CBA, I would like them to expand the trade deadline by 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's an. I mean that I would hopefully they considered the getting rid of the ghost runner.
Yeah. And
Um,
it's also not unprecedented because before the current trade deadline, the trade deadline was always August 15th.
yeah, it was. Yeah, and I would also. I already know that they're not going to. Salary cap's not happening.
No, no.
Um, maybe a salary floor will be part of
A
a discussion.
salary floor is more realistic,
Yeah,
in
or
my opinion.
Yeah.
Get rid of the ghost runner. The ghost runner. If you absolutely insist on having a ghost runner, start him in the 12th inning.
Yeah. And I would also invite them to consider doing what the NFL and the NBA do is trading draft picks on draft night.
Yes, and definitely trading draft picks. I think that should be that's
And
gonna that's gonna make the draft more enjoyable. Baseball is always looking to expand their fan base.
yeah,
One way to do that is trade the draft picks on draft day and have the draft after the season,
make
after the World
yeah,
Series.
and make the draft.
So
The drafts now. It's like I watched it, and the second day you didn't see a human being.
no,
I mean,
everything was online.
all you heard is the voice. Pick number six, and that's all they did. And
Yeah.
the draft for basketball and football is exciting. You see them all there in the war room. You see this and that. So add some excitement to the draft, really. And you can even trade players and draft picks for
Well,
picks. A hell of a lot
that
more fun.
that's the logic to having a draft after the World Series in the like maybe the first week of November.
Yeah, JT. Essentially, the salary cap limits the amount of money that the players can get at the top. Right, it limits the top end of the spending. The salary floor would mandate or require a minimum amount of spending.
And at the minimum spending versus the maximum
Yeah,
spending.
this way, teams at the top who are at the high thresholds won't be penalized, rather than here in this particular situation, a salary floor. And if you don't hit the floor, you have to forfeit draft picks instead of the teams at the top.
You have to. What could be a realistic way of a penalty of a salary floor?
You
For
lose,
example,
you forfeit your top draft pick,
you forfeit your top draft pick. Yes, move back.
and you
Well,
don't receive any revenue sharing money.
no revenue sharing. That's probably the more important one.
Hmm?
If you don't, and this is another thing, teams that do not spend their revenue sharing money on the team should forfeit the money back to the team.
The team, yeah.
Paid it. That's another rule I would like to see.
Folks, the Yankees gave out 134 million last year in revenue sharing. The Yankees alone, 134 million out of their own profits. For
Yeah,
teams like the Rays and the Pirates and these folks.
they gave out more revenue sharing than some teams' payroll.
Yeah, exactly. So and you have a bunch of teams that are have payrolls and have billionaire owners whose payrolls are under 100 million bucks, which make sense. You have these beautiful luxury boxes in the stadium, but you don't have any people sitting in them. What's the point of that? Right? Please make it make sense, guys. Well, yeah, the Yankees exactly. The Yankees reward for that, and they give out 134 million, and they pick 39th, and
Yeah.
they drop 10 picks exactly. So did the Mets. So did the Dodgers. They all dropped 10 picks, all three of them, because they were over the contract.
And I just don't like the fact that you're penalized for spending on your team.
Investing in your product. Why should teams be penalized for investing in their product? I don't think and this is something that I think would be a good thing to investigate in the next CBA. Instead of
Some teams
having a work stoppage over salary cap, do something like this because we know salary cap's not going to happen.
yeah, some teams don't even have stadiums.
Yeah, yeah. So like, what are we doing? Exactly, Craig. It's like, yeah, like the Tampa Bay Rays, right? Like the Athletics. I mean, they're going to be moving to Vegas, but there are other teams that are looking to get new stadiums as well. The Tampa Bay just sold their franchise. The owner sold the team. It becomes official in September. Could you
Yeah.
imagine if they get a little bit more payroll flexibility now? How dangerous they'll be.
And I think they're going to move out of Tampa. I wouldn't be surprised if they moved to Jacksonville.
A better sports, area in Florida.
That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing they're going to move from Tampa to Jacksonville.
Never know.
Nothing official. No breaking news.
Yeah, never know. Let's before we wrap it up. Let me see if there's any news that's come out. before we go here. I want to thank you all for joining us for recapping the draft. Let's see if you see anything, Jonathan. Let's see if I see anything.
I haven't seen anything on baseball, at least. Everything I'm seeing is unbaseball related. But it's still early in the day. And of course, this is the one thing I told you about is what happened to in football.
The
But
Orioles, the Orioles are listening to trade offers right now on Felix Bautista, their closer.
yeah.
They're listening to active offers. He's 1-1 with a 2.41 ERA, 48 Ks and 33 innings pitched. He's under control for 2 more seasons beyond this year.
And the last trade that I saw was the Adam Frazier trade.
Adam Frazier to the Royals, right?
Cardinals signed their first pick.
All right. All right. So that's what we have, gang. A lot of value in the Yankees in the draft. A lot of hidden gems. Nothing flashy, but potentially a well-balanced attack across the board for the Yankees. So, Jonathan, I want to thank you for joining me today,
Thank
too.
you for having me.
Let's get back to work now. And have a great day, everybody. And again, if anything happens, big, small, left, right, sexy, not sexy, you'll get it. I promise you.
And we will also go live on trade deadline day.
Yes, we'll be live for most of the day, trade deadline day. So you'll be fed in on everything as it comes in. And keep in mind, every day we go by without a deal is just crazy a trade deadline day is going to become.
Yes.
That day can be complete insanity, for all we know. You can get a deal like every 10 minutes, for all we know.
Yeah.
Could you
Well,
imagine?
last year we broke out plenty of good stuff.
Yeah, we broke like 30 deals. So it
Yeah,
was great.
and that one deal actually helped the Dodgers win the World Series, the
Yeah,
Edmund deal.
Tommy Edmond, the Edmond deal. And I remember Hector and Grace from Uptown Sports were nice enough to join me as well. So please come on again. And we'll have some other folks joining as well. So it's going to be a live time. We'll have food, we'll have beverages, and we'll just talk baseball, man. We'll be ready to rock and roll. But Jonathan, go ahead again. Thank you as always for your insight. Everybody, shout out to you on the chat. Hit the like button on the way out. It's greatly appreciated. Peace and love to all of yous, and we'll see y'all next time. Go Yankees.